What's going on, everybody? CastleCrag back today with another Monster Hunter Wilds weapon overview. Today is the Switchaxe. This is kind of exciting. It's not a weapon that I'm good with. It's not a weapon I know a whole lot about, but it's a weapon that I admire. I wish I could use it a little bit better because it's really, it's got that cool factor that I enjoy a lot in this game. It's a pretty unique weapon, I think, for Monster Hunter. Not necessarily unique within the world of Monster Hunter, considering we have the Charge Blade as well. That's a transforming weapon. It goes from sword to axe, or sword and shield to axe. But that's definitely not the same as the Switchaxe, which transforms as opposed to morphing, I guess. It's still called morphing in game, but whatever. Switchaxe is really, I think, a playground that they can test or try some kind of wild stuff, even in a pretty down-to-earth game that we expect Wilds to be, kind of more akin to Worlds than it is to Rise Sunbreak, or yeah, to World than Rise Sunbreak. Even with that, I think they can definitely be trying some neat stuff with this weapon, and I'm excited to see what we've got going on with it. Not much else to say. Again, I'm not a particularly big user of the weapon. It's just not something that I've ever bothered spending enough time to learn. But I do like this weapon a lot, actually, surprisingly, even though I don't play it. So, before we get into it, I'm going to ask if y'all leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Save the comments, of course, till after having watched the whole thing, because again, I like to correct myself even throughout. So if you're trying to point out an error or something in what I say, I may correct it later, or I may miscorrect myself later. You never know, but I could answer the question that you have or the comment that you have before the end of the video, and you just haven't watched all the way yet. So wait until the end, then comment, please. Let's get going. We're going to do the first watch through pretty much seamlessly all the way through the video, and then we're going to do our analysis right after that. Sounds good? Sounds good. Let's go. I'm sorry, I had to pause for a second because what on earth is this gorgeous set? It's like some deathly Mizutsune set. I'm sorry, this looks extremely pixelated. Give me 1 second. Is it just the video, or maybe it's just this video? It might have got a bad bit rate, because that looked really pixelated to me. Sorry. Okay, well, I guess let's get started. First off, this set is gorgeous. I don't know what monster this is, but I'm excited to fight it. The armor set does not, but the weapon set is giving me, like, it's got that horn right there. I assume that's actually a horn that the monster has. It's got some like pinkish kind of purplish colorations, cloth serrated. It's like a weird deathly flower. That's what I describe it as, like a death flower type thing is what I would go with on this. The cloth wrappings around it. It looks very cool. And the green rope. Interesting. I like the set as well. And we've got okay, so that's our wild, what is it? Wild swings. Here you just spam the circle button or the B button, depending on which controller you're using. And then you do the finisher with the triangle or the Y button. Right. Multifaceted morph, yep, okay. Looks rather thin. That could just be this particular weapon model. But the sword mode looks really thin. You know, I think it's just this weapon model in particular is a little bit on the thin side. I doubt that the rest of them will be. So axe mode excels at long range attacks. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to tell everything that's a new attack, but let's look again. So we've got our overhead swing. I think that's typical. That side swing is typical, I think. That doubles, like, that double, it's probably one input for a 2-hit swing, then the uppercut there. I think that's a new move. I think. Because I don't recall that move, but it could have been there before and I just didn't notice it before. I think that's a new move, though. I mean, it's not really, I would call it particularly actually, it almost looks like, sorry, it almost looks like maybe an animation cancel. Like you might be able to keep swinging that around you, kind of like a hammer spin to win, and then maybe it gets canceled there. Kind of like with the hammer spin to win until you press the regular attack button, at which point you either do the, if it's early, it's the regular golf swing. If it's late, it's middle of the combo, it is the uppercut. And then at the end, it's a big slam, I believe, for the hammer. This is maybe reminiscent of that. It looks like it may be an animation cancel where she starts swinging it and then stops it immediately. Hard to tell, though. All right, we're into sword mode now. Lets you unleash faster attacks. Does a... I can't tell. I would have expected this to be a sleep weapon. Kind of looks like ice almost. Sorry. Swing. There's our Heaven Slash. That's the normal combo. I didn't see anything different in that sword combo. We got our focus mode. Now that's a cool move. And then you have the elemental blast or whatever it's called. Elemental discharge, maybe. I liked that focus mode, like the focus strike. That was very neat. There's our counter with the sword swing. Okay. That is also, I think this was a, actually I think that was a switch skill, a wire bug move in the previous game right here, where we do this somersault, all that you'd wire bug in and do that. And I think it charged sword mode up more quickly or something like that. And this is, did we see this correctly? That's in sword mode right here. It's very similar to the, oh gosh, what the element, the alternative switch skill for elemental discharge, where instead of the stab in, spamming the button and all that, it was like the compact elemental discharge or something like that. Compacted, something like that, right? Where it, or condensed elemental discharge. I think that's what it was called in Rise Sunbreak, where you would do like a little spin attack and just blast it out. You didn't have to stab into the monster. It did a little bit less damage, but it was safer. This kind of reminds me of that, where it does the same kind of sound, same kind of animation right there. So I wonder if that looks like it's back. That's kind of cool if it is. I liked that move. I know it wasn't necessarily optimal, depending. I don't remember what the optimal sets were for Switchaxe, but that's kind of what that looked like. Yeah, again, I don't have a whole lot to go on here. This is actually a really short video, 46 seconds. And I didn't see a whole lot that I could tell was new, but my familiarity with this weapon is actually pretty darn low. So I'm very, very easily could be missing things. Like nothing else. Yeah. There's certainly new stuff if we compare it to World. Like that counter right there is definitely something. This move here, which they take the wire bug out of it, but you're doing pretty much the same move as what was in Rise Sunbreak. I think it was actually in base Rise. And then we have what looks kind of like the condensed elemental discharge or slash or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. Pretty sure I'm right on that. I'm just trying to see if there's anywhere where there might have been something. Again, the only that might have been a new move, that double swing uppercut. It may have been a spin to win where it eventually you can let it continue to spin around and you can do more hits, kind of like the wild swings. We did see the wild swings at the beginning. That's true, actually. We did see wild swings at the beginning, and this is clearly a different move from that. Yeah, and nothing there looked new at all. That looked like the regular basic Heaven Flurry. What is it? Heaven Strike, Heaven's Flurry, something like that. They look like the normal combo. This here is like a crazy. Is this a crazy? Oh, you know what? The axe is out here, right? Yeah, so this is the axe right here, and it's doing the ice attacks. So I think that it's basically doing the file damage that the sword mode usually has exclusive rights to. I think this was a thing only in Rise Sunbreak, where you could power up the axe mode by doing certain things, to where the axe mode would now do the file damage. I believe that was something added in Rise Sunbreak. It looks like they've carried that over, if that's what I'm looking at here. And I think that's definitely what I'm looking at, is that those file attacks are applying in axe mode. I did not see, did it do that earlier? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just the weapon effects. Okay, so those are files. They're bigger explosions, right? And that's definitely files popping, right? There's a difference between what's happening there and what's happening here, I think. Hard to tell, honestly. It could just be the regular status or element or whatever it is on this building. Not sure. I'm gonna say if you're a sword. If you're a Switchaxe main, let me know in the comments below what you think on that, because I don't know, something about it makes me think that it's doing file damage when we're doing this focus mode attack. What's that guy at? Is it all the way forward? Wow, that's all the way up here. Well, maybe not, because the files were red on that. The explosion was red. That makes it probably power files. Don't know. I do hope that power files aren't as crazy to try and charge up in this game compared to Rise Sunbreak, but they do need to be harder to charge up than they were in World, I think. It needs to be an in-between, I think, between the World Iceborne power files and the Rise Sunbreak power files, because those were way too hard to charge up, at least in base Rise. I don't know if they fixed it in Sunbreak. Maybe they did. Not entirely sure. But it was probably too powerful in World Iceborne to where power files were the only reasonable thing to even try and use. So I get why they did what they did in Sunbreak, Rise Sunbreak. I hope that they tone it back a little bit so it's somewhere in between in a good like balance, as opposed to too much one way or the other. It looks good, I think. That move was cool. I don't see a whole... I've said that in a couple of these. I don't see a whole lot changed. We don't see all the moves, of course. I don't know what else to say. So I think we'll end it there. I mean, it looks good. I think so. My God, I've done that a couple times. Switchaxe mains. I think Switchaxe users will be happy. But maybe it's possible you wanted some more changes, or maybe you wanted the weapon to stay exactly the same and you're very happy with it. I really don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Also, like, share, subscribe, all the normal stuff that every content creator asks for, please. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.